Hey everyone, I'm doing my next chapter of my John Maxwell. We had our monthly match-up today for that, and I join when I can. When I'm working on Saturdays, normally I'm not able to join, but since I'm in transition and I'm not working right now, it gave me the opportunity to join in and to listen to some of the senior leadership, which is nice for me. And I do go back and listen to some of the calls and some of the recordings that we have, and that's the benefit that I get, because when I am working, I try to apply whatever I'm learning on the job. And it's not easy for me, even though I have been in Canada since 2002. The cultural differences working with Americans and compared to working in England or South Africa, the cultural differences are very hard work for me. So I do work on it, and I try to adjust my communication depending on who I have on the call, who I'm talking to. Even in my networking, I adjust it. I'm very formal because that's the only way it seems that I won't offend anybody. I'm always offending people. So if I offend you, I'm sorry in advance. But when I'm myself, people seem to get offended. So I'm very formal with people. I do a good job. I do what I need to do, and then I move on. And that seems to work well. So that's what I do to help myself in this North American environment. And people say, oh, you should be yourself. You should be yourself. But if being yourself is not helping you to get your job and keep your job, then you have to change. You have to change, and you have to grow, and you have to do whatever it is and whatever it takes for you to get that job and keep that job. And John Maxwell always says, get yourself out of the people pile. So in today's culture with our job hunting, we're all applying for jobs online. All of us. Whoever's looking for work is applying for jobs online. And what I'm trying to do with making a personal connection with people, talking to them, introducing myself, I'm trying to get myself out of that people pile. That's why I go to job fairs, I go walking door to door every day, targeting different shops, talking to different people, hoping that one of those will remember me, or if they have an opportunity, they will contact me and say, there's this opportunity in my company, or they'll know somebody, and hopefully I make a good impression on them, and they pass my name forward. Because if all of us are applying for the same jobs online, we're just in a pile. There's thousands of people applying for those same jobs. So that's what I am doing, and that's how I got my job at Teleperformance. Nobody helped me to get that job. Nobody put in referrals for me. I went to a job fair, just like I'm doing now, and I'm pounding the pavements, and it's something I've been doing since 2007. So I hate it when I lose my jobs, because I know what's coming, and I know that nobody's going to do that work for me, and I have to do it myself. But I persevere, and I carry on. I encourage myself, and I do what I need to do. And I also do whatever I have to do to keep my place clean. I clean every day, I sweep, I make sure my bathroom's clean, change the bed sheets, change the towels. I still have to do all of that, just like everybody else, to keep myself clean, to keep my place clean. I still have to pay all my bills. So it's a tough journey, but that's what life is about. And here in North America, there's very few permanent jobs. Most of the jobs are contract, and they normally like a year's contract or 2 years contract if you're lucky. Others are normally 3 to 6 months. So we just have to take what we get and make the most of it. And hopefully, if you're lucky, somebody will actually give you something permanent. And it's not just about doing a good job, because everywhere I've been, I've done a good job, and they still haven't kept me. So sometimes it's different things. Sometimes the customers want different things. Sometimes the client wants different things. And some of it is, what skills are you bringing to the table? Because for me, I'm a relationship builder. Some of those tests that they are setting up now are very technical tests, and there could be a small difference in the answers of what it is that they are looking for, and you could choose the wrong answer and fail. So that's how it goes. I know when I walk into the banks or when I walk into places, they can see me standing there waiting for help, and they'll just tell me, I'm on a call, it's going to be 2 hours, come back later. So that's the customer service of today. And I have to leave and go and do something else and come back, so that when their worker is available and has the time to talk to me, then they can talk to me. So it's very different to how I grew up in Africa or in Zimbabwe. Different approach to customer service. And it reminds me of when, I guess in the later years of Zimbabwe, that's what started happening. You'd go to the post office, there'd be long lines of people waiting. The post office worker would tell you, oh, come back, there's a long line. We don't have enough people to help you now. So it reminds me a lot of Zimbabwe. I don't say anything. If that's the way they want to run the company, let them run it. I've lived through it before. I just leave and I say, okay, I'll come back in 2 hours. Or if there's somebody else that can help me, I talk to them. Because it's not my company. I'm not making the decisions. When I was in Zimbabwe, yes, I used to tell them, like, you can't do that to people. Like, you need to come deal with us, we the customers. No, I don't tell them. I don't say anything. They tell me, go and come back in 5 hours. I say, okay, I'll come back in 5 hours. But yeah, the world has become the same all over. And when we used to go to the bank in Zimbabwe, we used to have like 5 or 6 tellers opened. So the wait times would be quite small and people used to deal with us. Now, yeah, if they tell me, oh, there's no one to deal with you, we're not hiring people, I say, okay, thank you. And I just leave and I go. Because I'm burnt out. I just do. I'm tired of pushing and trying to help you understand what's happening. I just I'm tired. I'm also just going to look after myself now. And even at the church, I try to get there early, but now they told me, okay, we want you to come 15 minutes early. You came early, but for us that was late. So I said, okay, sorry, next time I'll come 15 minutes early. And then they also told me, don't start speaking too early before you announcing who's coming. I got an email from the church to tell me. And I've been reading for a long time, so I didn't actually realize what I had done. I said to them, you know what, I've also had a lot going on. I'm just going to take a break until the end of the year. And hopefully by then things will have fallen into place for me. And then I can come back fresh and start in the new year. Because I am under a lot of stress. I've got sores in my mouth, sores in the back of my throat. I'm unemployed right now. And, I've got a lot of other things that I'm worried about. And I help at the church. I do what I can. But, I didn't really realize that. And they told me, oh, you're not being fair to the priests. So I've been, when I finish reading, I always ask Father Larry, was everything okay? Is there anything you want me to do differently? So I was quite shocked, and I thought to myself, okay, you know what? You need to maybe step back a little bit. Just take some time to focus on your job search. Once you have your job and you're doing other things, then maybe you can help. So that's what I decided to do, and that's what other people can do. If you're like me and you're not from Canada, even if you've been here a long time, you always have to adjust to what they want you to do. And you have to also look after your own health, because we don't want to get to a place. I read a case about EY where a young lady got anxiety, she carried on working and she died. I mean, we don't want to get to that place. Unfortunately, for many of us, we do everything we can because we don't want to lose our jobs. We don't want to lose those volunteer opportunities. But we also have to step back. I mean, in this case, for me, life life took the decision for me, because all our clients were lost from Teleperformance, and they're not hiring, they're hiring bilingual people. So, and it's not here, it's in Calgary and Quebec and all those places. So in a way, God richly blessed me through that, because my health was suffering. I was getting nosebleeds. I did have anxiety. So in a way, God richly blessed me, because he said, Belinda, I'm not ready to take you yet. So you stay at home. And I'm on a temporary layoff. But we don't want to get to that place where, we lose our lives. So even with the church, I've taken a step back. I'm not going to read for the next couple of months. And then in the new year, when I go back, then I'll keep those things in mind. Whatever they told me in the email, whatever they've sent to me, then I'll make sure I get there 15 minutes early, make sure that I waited. I thought I waited for them to ring the bell and then I started, but obviously it was too quick. So I'll take that on board. Whatever they tell me to do, I do it and I change it. And we all do it. Whoever's helping in the church, we all adjust. So those are that's for me about how I adjust and change. And how is it related to this? It's about momentum, about keeping that momentum of learning and changing and growing. And the culture is a big part of it. Believe you me, I work at it. I work at it every day. I am not myself in Canada. I work at it. And is it hard work? Of course it's hard work. Because if you're not being yourself, if you take a fish and you tell it to climb the tree, do you think that fish can climb the tree? It can't. But if you put that tree in the water and the fish can swim, you change the environment a little bit, then we can do what we need to do. But this is not my culture. So every day is hard work for me, every single day. And then also, just to go back to this, the leadership thought for today is momentum is a good leader's gift. And if you look at Solomon, what King Solomon asked for the gift of wisdom, he could have asked for anything. And the example that John Maxwell gives is, if you ask a young guy, if you want anything, what do you want? They'll probably say like a car, or $1 million, or, a trip around the world. And as a young king, he asked for the gift of wisdom. So times of transition from one leader to another is the most critical time for continuing momentum. And that's true of anything. It's true when we step into leadership roles in our communities, in our churches, whether we're volunteering. It's a time of transition where we have to keep that momentum and that pressure on ourselves in order to get to that next level. We start with what we're provided with, just like David did in the Bible, or Solomon. We start with our foundations and we ask for wisdom. We learn as we go along, and then we win credibility. Once we win that credibility and we prove ourselves, then we continue to build on that momentum. But again, think about how many years I've been contracting, from 2007 to now. Can you imagine what hard work it is to build that credibility? If you're going from BMO to HSBC to CIBC to TD, to Toronto Western Hospital, to St. Michael's Hospital, to Teleperformance. Can you imagine how hard it is? Because none of those people know me. None of them have worked with me. Everywhere I go, I have to build my credibility all over again. So it's very, very hard work. But we have to do it. We have to also maintain the peace where we are, because there are people there who have been there much longer than us, and they have the authority, they have the trust of the leadership, they have the know-how of how the organization works, and we are people coming in, we're just there to do something, fulfill the tasks, whatever they need, and then we're back out on the street. we're back out on the road looking for that next opportunity. So it's not easy. It's very, very difficult. But we have to persevere, and we have to make sure that we're doing whatever we need to do. And then the fifth point, we surround ourselves with wise associates. So in the leadership circles that we have, whether it's with John Maxwell or whether it's with HRPA that I belong to or wherever I work, there are people there that can guide us. There are people there that can help us. And similarly, when new people come in, we can help them in turn, and we can strive to be good examples for them. But we always have to keep learning, keep growing, keep changing, and look after our own health as well. So the handoff here, he's just talking about King Solomon. If he had wisdom, he had a good handoff, so he was put into that position of responsibility. He wasn't just thrown in at the deep end. He was guided through it, and he had his parents, it was passed down, basically. A good inner circle and good decision making. Then how could he lose? There's no way he could lose. Because people either set you up for success or they set you up for failure. One of the two. And for us as migrants, we have to learn how to set ourselves up for success. Because nobody's going to do it for us. If you're lucky, if you're fortunate, you might have parents or you might have people who are going to help you to buy a property, to invest, so that you have something of your own. But if you're like me, nobody is going to help you to buy your property and you do it on your own and then you lose it, the chances of getting back onto that property ladder are very, very slim. You might be fortunate, you might be lucky to land a good job paying $100,000 a year. But I took out my mortgage on a 40-year term. So I took it out over a long time. Unfortunately, because of my circumstances, I could not keep it. I could not renew that mortgage. So we have to keep trying to set ourselves up for success. We have to be willing to move, not only to apply for jobs here in Canada, but to apply in the US, in Singapore, in Hong Kong. Many people leave. They leave Canada and they go to Australia, they go to other places. So I'm also open to that. And all migrants have to be. If we come here, once the opportunities dry up here, we have to be willing to move and to take our skills and go where they are needed. So the question for today for reflection is, have you been given the gift of momentum? If you have, what are you doing with it? So that's what we can reflect on, and that's what we can take with us. And it's true of prayer too. I might not be with my family, I might not be with my nieces and my nephews, but I can pray for them. I don't have to be with them. My cousins, whoever, my friends, I can pray for them and they can pray for me. And that's what we do. We pray for each other. They might be in Holland or they might be in South Africa, they might be in Zimbabwe, but nobody can stop us from praying for each other. And in that way, prayers also strengthen faith.